Hello. I wanted to give a rundown on my motorcycle and how I had it set up this summer, where I rode I rode a little over 10,000 miles in the UK and Europe in the summer of 2023, working on the Motorcycle Portraits, which is a long-term portrait series I've been working on off the bike. I use the motorcycle as a mobile photo studio. Anyway, one of the key things that I've been using is called the Carpe Iter Android device. It's basically a GPS system that I use to help me get around. And really, it's just an Android device that I use on top of my main speedometer and main setup on the bike. And with a couple of different apps, helps me to find any location that I'm looking for. And I can use Google Maps, I can use Calimoto, I can use really a number of things. You can also save tracks onto it. The main thing for me, the reason I use it, is that I can see it. Historically, I've been using my iPhone with Google Maps, and it's got to the point where I can't really see the Google Maps on the phone very well anymore. And I don't need glasses for distance. I would only need them for close up, and I can't have my glasses on when I'm riding. So with the Carpe, with the Android device, this big screen in front of me, I can clearly see what I need to see. The challenge that I have is I'm in the Apple world, so I use an iPhone and it's synced to my Sena on my helmet. The Android is obviously an Android and it's a different system, so I don't have any of my music, I don't have my phone going through it. I need to have a SIM card in it that I can use to download maps, etc. when I'm traveling. So basically what I do is I set it up that I have it going through the iPhone, and I use the audio turn by turn going into the Sena that's coming from the iPhone, and then when I'm setting up a map, I will basically match what is ever on the phone to what's ever on the Carpe, and then I don't need to look at the phone. I'll look at the Carpe, but I'll essentially listen to the phone. That may sound like a bit of a pain in the ass, but that's the rub when you're in the Apple world, which, like I said, I am. So basically, this is the bike. I don't know how well you can see it. It's a 2019 KTM 790 Adventure S. I'll zoom in a little bit to show you a little bit more. All right, so that is the main page on the Carpe, the home page. I'm using the new Android 11 OS, which is a big improvement on the previous one, which I think was 6 or 7, I don't even remember. Also, historically, the Carpe was shipping with a DM2 software, which, although looked kind of cool, I found was completely unnecessary and just adding another app in front of everything else. The main thing that I need is access to Google Maps, like that, or Calimoto, like that. I-Overlander, which helps me to find campsites, etc. So these are the key things. It's basically a phone. It's just a large phone that is mounted on top of my normal speedometer and set up on the KTM, so I can see things a lot easier, and the riding position, and it's straight in my eyes, so it's no problem. The bottom line is, if you're familiar with Android operating system, you're going to be completely familiar with this. Basically, it's an Android phone, like I said. If you want to make adjustments to what's going on the home screen, you can get your system settings, your home settings, add widgets, and change wallpapers. Super simple. You want to move things around, you long press, you move it around. No big deal. That's it. That's basically how this system works. It's key that I can see where I'm going, and I use each month I had to get a new SIM card while I was traveling, because as I was going country to country, I found it very difficult to update the current SIM card that I had. It was a pain in the ass. Sometimes you need to have an address in a location that you're at, so I was just buying new SIM cards in Europe, which was easy. It was about €20, and it gave me enough data to take me through the month. In some countries where they're not part of the European Union, then those SIM cards didn't work. So then I would rely on my phone, which I had from the US that has an AT&T plan. So it basically gave me world coverage. So for the Carpe, for updating software for the controller, this is the app you go to. You click on App Shelf. For me, you can see that I'm all updated. If it needed anything else, it would have a little arrow down there letting me know that I needed to update, but it don't, so everything's cool there. You have your screen options. You can set it in whichever orientation you want. I have it in this particular orientation, so that's how I like it. Power charge. Shows you where your charge is, where you're at, etc. A lot of people have been having issues thinking that their Carpe is running out of batteries, particularly when they shut it off or they shut the bike off at night. Let's say they're going to go camping or stay in a hotel or whatever. And then in the morning, they fire the bike up, they turn the Carpe on, and immediately it dies. This was happening to me as well. What I learned is that just because you're turning off the power, sort of tapping the button and turning off the power, you're not actually shutting it down. So as a result, it's continuing to draw battery power. And by the time you wake up in the morning 8 or 9 hours later after going to bed, and you turn it on, it's pretty much dead. So what you need to do to keep battery power is basically hold down the button and then power off. You want to shut it down every night when you're not using it. That will ensure that when you fire it up in the morning or whenever, it'll have the exact same battery power that you left it with when you turned it off. All right, so this is the Adventure controller. And this is the joystick up top. So when I was going left, right, up, or down, up, and the buttons like that, 1, 2, 3. Very simple. I will tell you that when I started this trip this summer, I erroneously had this Adventure controller on this side of my switchgear, which made it very problematic for me to access. So as a result, I wasn't accessing it, and I was using my hand to control the Carpe, and I was just using the touch screen, which is totally doable, but not ideal, because you want to be able to keep your hands on your handlebars. So by moving this over to right beside my grip, I'm able to easily access this. It did stretch out my my signal a little bit, but I still managed to do it without a problem. So I would definitely make sure that when you set this up, when you put on your controller, that you put it directly beside your grip. Anything on the other side is just going to make it difficult for yourself. The middle button here, which is a plus button, hold that, and boom, there it is. So you can quickly, I'll just show you. So this is the disable touch. So if it's raining or you've got anything sort of, yeah, I don't know, well, predominantly rain really is touching the screen, and sometimes it's banging against the screen, and it can actually be acting like a finger and adjusting and changing what you see on the screen. So if you want to disable the touch element on the screen, so you would just hit that button. Now nothing will happen, right? Make it available again and you can use it. Anyway, exit button, again, hold it, comes back, brightness, up, down. I like it up, back. The buttons, so you can see the red, the green, the blue, white, orange, and back to red. That's how I like it. Anyway, that's the heads up display. And again, minus to get me back, or plus, boom, and we're right back to the home screen. So that's that. So super easy to navigate, get around. You can see the highlight on the Carpe. So I can select an app that I want to use. Let's say I want to use Google Apps. I hit it looks like a back button. That's the one, the top button is what I hit. Zooming in. Bouncing around. super easy to use the adventure controller. Also really important to make sure this adventure controller is into your switched electric. So when you turn off the power, this thing turns off as well. I had, again, erroneously set it up onto the wrong power, so it was staying on before it would finally turn itself off after a little bit of time. Anyway, that is a brief description of the Carpe and how I use it, and I couldn't be happier with it. I rode, like I said, over 10,000 miles this summer, and the thing was amazing and so much better than in the past when I used a Garmin Zumo XT, which constantly was freezing on me, particularly at really inopportune moments. This unit never froze on me, never caused me any problems, barring one day when it was 45 degrees in Barcelona, and my phone, the Carpe, everything kind of was too hot. However, once it started moving and air started circulating, then it came back to life and everything was fine. So that's what I got to say about the Carpe. I love it, and I think you will too. I definitely highly recommend getting it.